New homeowners, are you ready for your property tax bill to go up 50 to 75%? Well, I sure am. And I'm not just joking around here or playing games. I actually am ready for my tax bill to go up because it's actually going up 75%, guys. Yeah, I'm a new homeowner, just like anybody else out there who bought this year. I bought my place in February 2022. I made a whole video about it, so I'm not going to get into all the details in this video, guys. But basically, a quick rundown for anybody who sees this video that doesn't know me. I bought it because we got an amazing deal. We got a 3-bedroom, 3-bathroom condo for the price of a 2-bedroom, which was $550,000. We were literally the second lowest price sale in the building all year. A similar 2-bedroom sold for $548,000. Right across the hall, basically, and everything else that's selling in the building has gone for $650 to $700 and up. So it was a sweet deal. And the other reason we bought it is because we needed a place to live, and you know, we were renting, and rent prices were going through the roof, and we probably were not going to be able to renew our current lease where we were getting a very good deal. And if we would have needed to rent a new place, we would be paying north of $4,000 a month for a 2-bedroom, 2-bath just in rent. And we pay that much for our 3-bedroom, 3-bath condo to own it. So the logistics made sense, guys. It was a practical purchase of a place that we needed to live. It came at the right time, got a good rate, and the payment is lower than what it would cost to rent something similar. If you want to rent a 3-bedroom in my neighborhood, guys, cheapest place like $7 grand a month. So go figure, we're paying $4. So just to put that into perspective of why we bought. Now, my current tax bill for 2022, which was passed along from the previous owner, was $5,157, okay? That's pretty on par with the area. Well, I just got the new proposed amount in the mail yesterday, and as you can see, they want to raise it to $9,106, guys. That's a 76% increase in 1 year. Now, the reason why it was so low before is because the woman who had been living there prior had a homestead exemption. She bought it a long time ago, I think back in the late 90s or early 2000s. So she had a much lower tax base and assessed value than I'm going to have for the same property now. Now, first of all, I don't want to come off all surprised like I'm getting this tax increase, because I knew this was going to happen, guys. I anticipated this as we bought the place. I knew they were going to raise the taxes because that's what happens when you buy a property and it has a lower tax bill. So I was already calculating that this was probably what it was going to be later on down the road. So this is not a huge surprise for anybody here. But are you ready for this as a new homeowner? Look, guys, we have a vacant lot here for sale. Ready to build your dream house on the golf course right here. Listed at how much? Let's put it up. And by the way, I'm on South Shore Drive today, which is also in Normandy Isle. Same island that I shot the previous video, but now we're on the north side of the island instead of the south side. And the reason why this is called South Shore Drive is because it's on the south side of the golf course. Now, obviously, guys, this is not just happening to me. This is happening to all sorts of new homeowners who bought over the past year. And the less that the person you bought the place from was paying, the higher the increase you're going to see going into 2023. And I hope that anybody who bought is aware that this is going to happen to them, because, you know, if you were already riding the thin line, so to speak, when it came to getting your place and you were just barely able to afford it before, well, now with this property tax increase, maybe you won't actually be able to afford it anymore. So that's like the new concern going forward for some people. So for me, this equates to about a $333 a month increase, which is significant but not unaffordable. But not everybody can afford an increase like that, right? So guys, you got to make sure you keep hitting the like button and watching these YouTube videos, because I got to pay that higher property tax bill now. Now, I am going to file for the Florida homestead exemption, which will lower my assessed value by $50,000. So right now they put the assessed value at $484,000, and which is usually less, guys, just so you know. Usually your assessed value is going to be lower than what you purchased the place for. Thank God, because if it wasn't, the tax bill would be even higher. So they assessed mine at $484, purchase price was $550. So that assessed value should come down to $434, and that would roughly lower my tax bill down to about $7,800. So getting that homestead exemption should lower it to about $7,800 a year instead of the $9,100, saving me approximately $1,300 a year. So I'll take it, guys. Anytime I can save money on anything, I go for it. That's just like the type of person I am. I mean, why would you not take the exemption if you're living in the property, right? So common sense. So to any new buyers out there, just make sure that you are getting the homestead exemption if this is something that they offer in your state, which most states do offer some sort of homestead exemption, which basically allows you to pay a little bit less in property taxes. And here in Florida, it caps the amount of property tax increases that they can increase you per year by 3%. So you're guaranteed to not have your bill go up by more than 3% a year if you get the homestead exemption. So that's another benefit to it. Not only is your tax base lower, but your increases will be lower as well. Make sure you do that. Now, I have some good news out there for anybody who has been waiting for home prices to come down. Basically, for the first time ever since home prices started to explode at the beginning of the pandemic, we have now seen a $10,000 decrease in median home prices according to the National Association of Realtors. In July, it went down to $413,800, and it's down to $10,000 from the prior month. But year over year, guys, the prices are still up by almost 11%. So that's why all these economists, including the ones at Realtor.com and Redfin and all these guys, say that the housing market is still strong because year over year prices are still higher, not lower. But this is how it starts to happen, guys. $10,000 decrease this month, $10,000 decrease next month, $12,000 the month after that. You get the picture. Now, there's no guarantee that's going to happen, but this is what we need to watch out for. Now that we're seeing median home prices sold, these are sold prices, not listed prices, start to fall, then this is an indicator that the trend moving forward could point to the median home price continuing to fall. And this is on a nationwide basis, guys. I highly encourage you to go to Redfin, type in your city, and check out the market analysis, and you can see right there on Redfin's graph, they track the median sold price in your area. See if it's going down, guys, because a lot of the places I've been checking, it has been going down. Somebody wrote me a couple days ago on my last video saying that the home prices in DC, seem pretty strong still. Well, guess what? They were down, guys. They were down by like a little over 4%. And same thing in Southwest Florida, in Naples, in different places where, prices have been very high for a long time. You're starting to see the median sold price go down in these places. So just go and check that out. It's free, and it's very simple to see where things are going. And usually what you'll see is it kind of go up and down, and the overall trend is up. But if we're at the beginning of a housing market crash, we might see another little bump up, but then almost certainly we'll see the overall trend go down. So that's what you need to be looking at right now in your market to see if we are going to be headed into more price reductions in the near future. But it's not just the median sold price that's down, guys. The amount of homes actually being sold right now are down 20% year over year. And when we talk about new home sales, meaning new construction, those numbers are down by 30% year over year. So the amount of homes being sold, and now the median sold price is starting to dip. So I just want to point this out because it's something that is really happening and we all need to take note of it. I have another one for sale over here. And this house is facing the golf course. The houses on the other side of the street are on the canal, which are definitely going to cost more. So far, I haven't seen one of those for sale yet. Now, it's not just me saying this, guys. In fact, Fannie Mae just reduced their home sales projection numbers for 2022 once again, and they have been continuing to fall throughout the year as they revise these projections, okay? Now they expect a 16.2% drop in home sales year to year in 2022. So that's pretty significant. Before they were predicting 15.6%. So you can see that percentage keeps climbing and the year's not over yet. So who knows what the real number is actually going to be by the time the year's done. And once again, new home sales are projected to fall the highest, down 18% this year, guys. So on new home sales, this is where you could actually end up getting the best deals if you're out in the market right now to buy a house. If you see a lot of building in your current market, then that's a good indicator of where to start, guys, if you want a brand new house. Not everybody wants a brand new house because of one reason or another: location, style of the house, school district, whatever. Some people just don't trust having a brand new house, which I understand because not everything is built like it was 50 years ago. So, but if you are wanting a new house, this is a good time to start looking at them. I'm not saying pull the trigger on one, but start looking at them because more builders are starting to offer incentives in the way of, you know, free upgrades like free granite countertops, free stainless steel appliances. They'll buy down the rate for you. Sometimes they'll lower the price. They'll give you a premium lot. They're doing all sorts of things right now to offload these properties. Just like we talked about in the last video, there are over 400,000 new construction homes in some phase of development in the United States that are for sale right now. So if this is something you've been looking for, the opportunity for it is coming. Now, on days when I shoot the videos like this, guys, I don't have a whole lot of time to answer the comments, but I do read through a few of them to also give me ideas for the videos. And I saw one of the most recent ones that came in asking me what I think about this new student loan forgiveness program. First of all, I think it's criminal because here's the main thing, all right? Me, Michael Bordenero, I didn't go to college, guys. I decided halfway through my high school career that I was not going to be going to college because I knew I probably A, wouldn't finish because I hated school, and 2, there was no way when I was 16 years old I could think of exactly what I wanted to do for the rest of my life, and I just knew it was going to be a waste of money. So I decided not to go, and around that same time I also decided that I wanted to start my own business someday. And fast forward a few years after graduation, that's what I did. I got my real estate license when I was 21 and started working for myself as an agent. And now I have this YouTube channel on top of that as well. So I am an entrepreneur. I started my own business, okay? And I never went to college. So my thoughts on this are, why should someone like me, who had to break through every single obstacle I could in the world to get to where I am today, why should me, Michael, have to pay part of somebody else's student loan bill in the form of taxes? I shouldn't, guys, and neither should you. Even if you did go to college, you know, why should you have to pay somebody else's college bill? It just makes no sense, all right? So it's yet another thing that's being forced on us as Americans that we basically have no say about. I'm sure all the students out there are thrilled because most students are going to be eligible to get a $10,000 debt wiped off their record, and some of them who got Pell Grants will get up to $20,000 wiped off. So there's that. I think that this is also going to make inflation worse because it's going to put a little extra money back in students' pockets. And the problem is, guys, is that a lot of these students went to school and got useless degrees. And we're going to talk more about that in just a minute. If you went to college and you didn't research how much you were going to make outside of college after you got your job, or didn't really realize there wasn't a good job market for the degree that you got, that's on you. There's no reason that I should have to subsidize that or anybody else should have to subsidize it. So keep that in mind. That's my view on it. I'm not against people going to college. You want to go, great, but that's on you. There's no reason I should have to pay. I'm not your dad. I shouldn't have to pay your college bill, okay? But this is a perfect segue into the next thing I want to talk about, guys, because there was an article a couple weeks ago. I meant to mention it back then, but I just forgot, about there's so many less high school kids deciding to go to college now in the United States. And right now there are 4 million fewer college students in the US than there were 10 years ago. So that's pretty significant. And why is this happening? Well, big surprise, college costs an arm and a leg. And you know, these universities, the prices that they charge for, you know, tuition has gone through the roof over the past decade, first of all. But also, there's widespread and fast-growing skepticism about the value of a degree these days. No wonder. Look at these people that are in student loan debt crying for help now because they got a useless degree, and now the government is starting to bail them out. But it's not just that. It's also about the impatience with the time it takes to get one, and the costs to get the degree have finally exceeded many people's ability and willingness to repay the debt. So where does that bring us to? It brings us to right where we're at right now, where the government is bailing out student loan debt because people just can't pay. Less than 1 in 3 adults now believe that a degree is worth the cost, okay? And the overall happiness level of the students that received a degree recently report that they're not happy with the level of education they got with their degree after they graduated and had to pay all this money. So what are these people doing instead? Well, they're following a similar path to me. They're getting a job right out of high school. Some of them are being bold and starting businesses, okay? And other ones that don't want to have a business are going to trade schools for a fraction of the cost that it costs to go to college and doing professions that we all need, guys. We all need electricians. We all need plumbers. We all need roofers. We all need contractors. We all need people to build the new houses that need to be built in this country. We all need people to do this stuff, and none of that requires a college degree. So I never once for a minute look down on anyone who decides to make this decision to skip college and get into a trade that is much needed right now and can still make a decent living and afford to pay your bills and pay for a roof over your head and still have some savings and have a nice life after that. So I think this overall trend is a good thing that less kids are starting to go to college. But first of all, if you are somebody who is in high school out there watching or thinking about going to college, don't listen to me and say, oh, Michael said I shouldn't have to go to college. And this is something you need to decide on your own, guys, because I had a ton of teachers and you know, other kids that I knew that were like the smart kids, you know, kind of like say, whoa, you're not going to go to college? You know, you can't even get a good job these days without going to college, which that's just not true, first of all, because there's all those trade schools and things that we just talked about that can be done. Another one I just thought of are auto mechanics are in huge shortage right now, guys. So there are a lot of different things you can do without going to college that don't require a degree, where you can get some other form of education and do these jobs. So keep that in mind, first of all. But think about this. More than 4 in 10 bachelor's degree holders under 45 years old do not agree that the benefits of their educations exceed the costs, okay? And this is from a study done by the Federal Reserve, and only a quarter of people surveyed in a different study said that they would do it all over again if they had to go back to college and get the same degree again. So that's only 25%, guys, say they would do it again. So it sounds like just as many people who have recent buyer's remorse who bought a home over the past couple of years also have college graduate remorse as well. So just keep this in mind as you think about the future of your life and how you want things to unfold. But I will tell you, as somebody who also had to make this decision, that being an entrepreneur is no walk in the park, guys. You know, I've been working for myself since I was 21. I'm 35. That's 14 years. And pretty much up until the last few years, it has been a major uphill battle. So it is not easy, okay? I would even argue that going to college is the easy route, okay? People think it's hard to go to school, get an education and all that. It's not really that hard. You go for 4 years and you're out in the work world getting a salary in many cases, which is a guaranteed income. When you're an entrepreneur, there's no such thing as a guaranteed income. You're stuck with whatever you can make for the month, and that's it. So it's extremely important, if you're going to go the entrepreneur route, to hustle. and I mean hustle, especially for the first decade. It really takes a lot of effort, guys, even doing this YouTube channel right here. I've had some young people that watch this channel reach out to me and say, oh, I want to start a channel too, you know, what should I do, and this and that, and you know, how long does it take to start making money and all this. It takes a long time, guys. I just had my 3-year anniversary on YouTube, and only now things are going pretty good, you know, to the point where I'm really happy with the progress that I've made. But it took 3 years of grinding. I've made over 400 videos on this channel. So are you willing to put in that level of effort, that level of dedication, consistently posting 3 times a week, answering people's comments, and just doing whatever it takes to get there? Because I would say that most people don't have what it takes to do something like this. It's you know, running this YouTube channel is one of those things that looks easy on the surface, guys, but it's much more work than anybody ever thought it would be, okay? And that includes myself. I never thought it would be this much work, but I love it, you know? I'm actually really enjoying this. I'm having a lot of fun. Let's take a look at this place real quick. Brand new on the water. Here's a funny thing I read today, guys. Apparently, according to somebody, it wasn't even worth quoting whoever said this, but it's just kind of funny to repeat it. This guy says that recession is just a word. Whether or not we are in a recession is not really that important. It's what it feels like for the people going through this that determines whether or not we're in a recession. Okay. So guys, what do you think? Do you think we're in a recession? Because I looked this up, and the official definition of recession from the dictionary is a period of temporary economic decline during which trade and industrial activity are reduced, generally identified by a fall in GDP in 2 successive quarters. That's the official definition if you look this up on Google. So people like this, whatever idiot said this, this is not actually a recession. It's only a recession if people feel like it's a recession. Okay? So, yeah, I'm not with that, okay? I don't agree with that one at all. You can't just change the definition of words and facts at will to fit your narrative, guys. That's not how the world works. So people that are in denial that this is a recession probably have some sort of ulterior motive to make people think that that's the case. Because one thing that's really powerful is the human psyche, and we can trick ourselves into thinking things are worse or better than they really are. So, you know, maybe part of this is a psychological trick. Maybe these people actually believe it. Maybe they have an agenda. I don't really know, but all I know is I'm looking at the facts, not these morons' opinions, okay? Now, one thing I've noticed is I'm getting more viewers tuning in from the UK and Canada, which is interesting because maybe like a month or 2 ago in a video I did, I predicted that based on what's happening out there in the economy, the worldwide economy, that these 2 countries in particular would have a much more significant housing crash than the United States. And that's already proven to be true, guys. Right now in the UK, 1.8 million people need to refinance their house in the next year, right at the time when interest rates are going through the roof right now. And adding to the pain of that, the low price sources of credit are going to disappear. So it's going to be interesting to see if people in the UK are going to be able to keep up with the massive cost of living increase that they're going to see in roughly a year from now. Because one of my subscribers also wrote me and he told me that most households are going to see a £5,000 per year increase in just their energy bill alone by the end of this year. Also, when you take into consideration that 1.8 million people are going to be needing to refinance since they do like just basically 5-year mortgages over there, that's going to be disaster, guys. So I think if you live in the UK and in Canada, because they're seeing a lot of similar things happen there with the price of housing starting to come down tremendously already, you're in for some, you know, good deals coming up. So I'd be really on the lookout over there. You know, in the US, we haven't seen these massive issues hit us just yet, like you guys are seeing. So if you live in the UK or Canada, keep your eyes peeled for some good real estate deals, because I think they're coming. But some people just refuse to see the writing on the wall, because Danny, who is a subscriber of mine that wrote me this, he said that he had a friend that listed a place for 270,000 pounds 5 weeks ago, and then they sold it within 3 days for 325,000 pounds. So basically 50 grand over asking price. And you know, people just aren't thinking, guys. We talked about this in a previous video too with buyer's remorse. So many buyers that have been surveyed, like over 70%, guys, have some sort of regret when it comes to buying a house. Guess what the top one is? Oh, we paid too much. That's the number one thing. What's the second thing? Oh, we rushed into it. You know, we didn't do our due diligence enough, and we kind of regret rushing in and buying that house because now it has this problem or that problem, or now this expense is coming up and this and that and that and that. This is what happens when you act too fast on the biggest purchase of your life. So think about all these things, especially young people, about going to college, guys. Is it worth it for you? If you're gonna go and be a doctor or a lawyer, obviously you have to go to college, and you're gonna make a ton of money doing something like that, and then it might be worth it. But really look at the financial benefit of going, guys. What are you gonna go to college for? And is it going to be able to pay off the student loan debts that you're gonna probably get yourself into? Look into this ahead of time. This is important. And I know when you're young, you don't think about all these things, because I know I certainly didn't think of everything when I was 15, 16 years old. So think about these things, because it will make a giant difference for you later down the road. And just look at all the students right now that are getting a handout. They're getting this $10,000 bailout, okay, in most cases. But think about this. If you have $50,000 in student loan debt, this is only gonna wipe away 10,000 of it. You're still gonna have 40 grand in debt. So while this will help students who have a lot of student loan debt, it's not going to do much for people that have a lot of it. So you need to think about all these things before you make important decisions, before you go to college, before you decide to buy a house, and how much you're gonna pay for the house, where the house is gonna be. These are all important things, guys. If you enjoyed this video or you found it entertaining, please subscribe to the channel. Check out my next video on the screen right over here, and I'll catch you over in the next one.